For a few years now, Water Chadski has been one of the most trusted names in the Rise of Kingdoms community, the big whale with a YouTube channel and a wise veteran voice. This is the story of how that trust actually worked, and really, it comes down to three different groups of people. Two friends who helped him get to where he is today, who got 3 weeks of silence and then a staged apology, the woman who runs everything behind his channel, who was handed a doctored version of history so she'd never learn what he really said about her, and lastly, his audience, watching his channel grow. But when you take a look closer, you start to notice that some things just don't seem quite right. What cracked it all open was one Discord feature, a little grey tag that says, edited. Everything you're about to see is real, from conversations I was personally a part of, and a few things are my own testimony, and I'll make sure to flag those clearly. But I'll be straight up front with you, I'm one side of this. There are always two, and you're only getting mine from this video, so don't take my word from any of it. Watch the receipts and make up your own mind. This isn't me trying to end the guy or tell you who to be mad at. If anything, it's the opposite. The whole point is to stop taking any of us at face value, whether it's me, it's him, or any of the situation, and actually look at what's right in front of you. Whatever you land on, that's for you to decide. Just don't go after him, the receipts already do the talking. Chapter 1. The Silence. Early August 2025, and Chad goes quiet. And I don't just mean busy quiet, I mean completely gone. I message him, and I get absolutely nothing. A week goes by, still nothing. So I hit up Cortex, I'm like, is Chad ghosting you too? And he checks, and it's exactly the same thing. Weeks of messages just sitting there, completely unanswered, from the guy who used to talk to us basically almost every day. Here's where it gets weird. This part I'm going to tell you firsthand, because the conversation it comes from stays private, but you're also about to hear the man himself confirm every single word of it. Chad's messages, going back not just weeks, not just months, but 2 years, all have that little grey tag on them. Edited. Message after message after message, and not random ones either. There was a clear pattern to it. Everywhere Chad had ever said anything negative about peace, completely rewritten and softened. Some replaced with a friendly little sign-off. Cortex's side of the conversations though, every blunt word that he'd ever said about her left completely untouched. So picture that for a second. A grown man going back through years of his own conversations, rewording every sentence that could get him in trouble, which takes hours, and it leaves you with just one obvious question. Who was it all for? One more thing happened during those silent weeks, and just a little bit of background first. Chad's created Discord wasn't built by himself. I was actually the one that created that server for him. I convinced him to do it, I curated it, and I even ran it as an admin from the day that it opened. Cortex also held admin there. By August, I was already gone. I'd walked quietly out a month earlier over something I'll get to in a minute, which left Cortex. And during those silent weeks, Cortex's admin permissions got removed too, quietly, and there was no conversation about it. He later made a group chat that we'll get to in a little bit, but during that group chat, he was called out on it and he never denied it. So before a single word was even said to our faces, we'd been ghosted, edited, and demodded. That afternoon, before we could even confront him about it, Chad opened the group chat. Chapter 2, 49 minutes. August 28th, 2:38 PM, and Chad finally breaks the silence, not with an answer, but with an essay. Just a bit of housekeeping before the screenshots roll, because you'll notice it immediately. Chad appears in these as deleted user. That's because he got hacked a few months later, and he lost that Discord account. He had to start a fresh one. It's still the same person, just an old Discord account, and you can see it adding me to the group chat right at the top. I'm putting the full essay on screen now. Pause and read the whole thing if you want, it's quite something. But now that you know what Cortex found that morning, listen to what this message is actually doing. Peace has been there for me for so long, always having my back. She's working damn near full time to help me with the channel and the Discord. She's always loved and supported you guys. And you two, you need to make amends with her. Oh, and if you can't be fucked with that, and I quote, then okay. Nothing about the edits, nothing about the ghosting. According to the essay, this is all just something that's been weighing on him. And peace? This is definitely not a situation where she compelled me to do anything. Just remember that. There's one line in that essay I'm not going to let slide, because it isn't even about him, it's about us. And I quote, I got a dose of reality that this may be how you treat people you have known for a long time. Just read that again. Off the back of one blunt message and one comment in a voice call, keep in mind, an opinion he also shared, he's decided that me and Cortex are just the type who treat their oldest friends like garbage. That's his whole read on who we are as people. And this is the guy who just ghosted us for 3 weeks, combed through 2 years of his own DMs to scrub them clean, and typed this exact essay as a prop to show someone else. So if you genuinely want a dose of reality about how a person treats people they've known for years, it's right there on the screen. He wrote it about us, and it turns out it's all true about him. And make amends for what exactly? Buried in that essay is the entire charge sheet. My crime was, months earlier, in his server's admin chat, Peace asked about a bot that I built, and I answered Ask Chad, right after posting about 4 or 5 screenshots explaining that exact bot. Blunt? Sure. And I said as much at the time. Cortex's crime? And you should hear it from the way Cortex himself put it in the chat. And I quote, "So you ghosted me because I said Peace was bitching on voice? And then just, nice." That's what required 3 weeks of silence, 2 years of edits, and a staged essay. And I need you to get why that bot moment even had heat in it. Around then, whenever someone in Chad's server asked for guides or KVK maps, one of his admins and one of our buddies, Evergreen, would point them to the King's Codex, my server, because that's where the information lived. And that had quietly become a problem. Peace's line, quote, "Why do you keep needing to forward people to another server for information?" is kind of wild, because I built that server, ran it for free, and spent months paying its 10,000 plus members at Chad's channel and his events. I brought a couple thousand of his very first members in myself, and that's not me guessing. It's on screen with him replying, "Broski, I'm well aware, I know the value." Somehow, that wasn't enough to satisfy the greed to grow Chad's server even more. The greed would eventually want to replace everything the ROK community had to offer. And here's the tell. In that same essay, Chad praised his Peace for supporting my server, but the version I lived was the one where linking it had become something to shut down. His words in the same chat. "I checked Peace on that. She feels like she doesn't get the respect as the one doing the server with me." Every thread ran back to the same person. So no, Ask Chad wasn't me being cruel to a volunteer. It was one blunt line from the guy who'd spent months sending thousands of people his way, repaid with, "Why are we sending people to his server?" And yeah, I was heated. That was just the last straw, and I quietly left the server I built for him. His reaction when he noticed? "Why you leave the server? I'm over here promoting TKC in the last 3 videos I did." He thought it was about the promo, but it never was. 2:41 PM, so 3 minutes. That's how long the essay lasted. Because I asked the obvious question, why have you gone back through Cortex's DMs and edited all your messages to remove your negative regards about Peace, completely? And Chad's first instinct, before answering for himself, was to point at Cortex. And I quote, "I mean, Cortex referenced her a psycho bitch, and you haven't said things that strong, but you refuse to try and make amends." He walked in, writing out his friend's language, with his own already scrubbed clean. Cortex piles on. "Don't act like you never said anything bad about Peace. You literally went out of your way to edit all your messages in our chat log." Chad's first answer, 2:46 PM. "Yes, I didn't feel good about it. It wasn't fair." Confession number 1, 3 minutes in. Just remember that, because he spends the next hour trying to unconfess it. What follows is honestly one of the wildest exchanges I've ever been a part of in this game. Just watch the sequence. He goes, "I didn't ghost you, bro. We have talked in DM since." And Cortex just replies, "Open your DM right now, please." Then nothing. He says, "I wasn't editing anything that was said bad about her." Minutes after saying, yes, he didn't feel good about it. He says, "I never called her a psycho bitch or a bitch." Then at 3:06, he finally cracks. "Why did you edit all of your messages?" "Because I had to show her." "Show her what?" "DMs." There it is. Peace had asked to see his DMs. And according to Chad, which is his words, and I want to be fair here because this part of the story we only have from him, she was literally threatening to quit helping me. The woman working damn near full-time on his channel wanted to read his private conversations or she walks. So he didn't say no, he didn't stand up for his friends, he got to work. 2 years of messages cleaned up one by one. It'd be easy to hear that and think Peace is the villain here, the one pulling his strings. But that's not where I land, and I don't think the evidence does either. Whether she pushed him or not, the choice was his. Faced with someone who might walk, and 2 friends who'd had his back for years, he chose to protect the version of himself that she gets to see. That's not Peace controlling Chad, that's Chad protecting Chad, and burning us to do it. Just hold on to that though, because it only gets clearer from here. By 3:56, he gives up the whole mechanism, extra detail and all. This is the one message worth pausing on though, so take your time with it. Peace wasn't getting any response from both of you. She was hammering me for not sticking up for her. She asked if Cortex said anything about her. I tried to show her just small conversations, but scrolled too far back. And she saw some shit he and I both said, so I tried to go back and edit shit in case that happened again. In case that happened again. So this wasn't just some one-time panic edit, it was maintenance. He wasn't hiding one bad message so much as building a version of himself that could survive her scrolling. Now I need to rewind a few minutes, because I saved the most important exchange for last. Now you'll see the time stamps jump back, and that's on purpose. 3:27 PM, the real moment. The one that broke this whole thing open is when Cortex asked why the essay even exists. Why open the chat with a lecture about our behavior? And Chad types this. The initial message was posturing, so I could show Peace that I'm trying to address it with you. Then, yeah, I told her I would try to address it. 49 minutes. That's the distance between, and I quote, "This is definitely not a situation where she compelled me to do anything," and "so I could show Peace." The heartfelt essay about friendship and respect was a prop, written to be screenshotted for an audience of one who wasn't even in the room. Now, my reply is on screen, and I stand by it. My full point-by-point teardown of what the essay is on screen too. Pause if you need to read it, because it's long. Chad's live reaction to it was, and I quote, "How the fuck do you type that fast? It's because you pissed me off, man. That's how." Now the part that people will bring up. But he apologized. And yeah, he did, many times, but just watch when. "I didn't ghost you, bro," he said, "but the record shows otherwise." Then it's, "I'm sorry for ghosting." "I wasn't editing anything bad about her." He's getting applied pressure, because then it's, "'cause I had to show her." Peace has nothing to do with it now. Now he says as he's cornered. It was posturing for Peace. So count the apologies, then count what each one came right after, because he never actually confessed to a single thing until after he got called out on it, which isn't him being sorry, it's a guy changing his story every time he gets caught in the last one. He even edited the confession himself. "I told her I would try to address it," turned into, "She doesn't know I'm even reaching out 12 minutes later." And both of those can't be true, but he typed them both anyway. And in the middle of all of this, Cortex, who is still in disbelief, writes this. "All the things you told me, believing in me, fully supporting me, being like a father figure for me, even supporting me financially when I was struggling, I never could have seen it coming from you, out of everyone." My words that afternoon. In my 7 years of this game, no one had pulled what he pulled on us. No one. I'll give the chat one human moment though. 9 minutes in, Cortex compares Peace's DM's demand to a high school girlfriend asking to scroll through your text or she'll break up with you. Chad's answer? "Oh, I know. I had those types of girlfriends before meeting my wife." Cortex. "Somehow you seem to attract that type." Even the man's own train wreck got a laugh. But before we move on, one more thing. There's a person in this story who still doesn't even know most of what you just watched, and that's Peace. Everything Chad did that afternoon, he did to manage her. The essay was a performance he'd already promised her. After seeing just a glimpse of some of the things Chad had said about her behind her back, he went through hours of cleaning to bury it, in case this incident would repeat itself in the future. What about those things that sit underneath those edits? By his own admission in that chat, it was things he and Cortex both said. Bad enough that he'd rather rewrite 2 years of history than let her read it. Bad enough that when Cortex said this to his face, "We literally had a conversation where you told me to let her go, that we cannot deal with her anymore." Chad's answer wasn't outrage. It was, "I never called her a psycho bitch." That's the man she works for, damn near full time. The man who told us, that same afternoon, that without her, he might as well quit everything. She has defended him for years, to everyone, including against us, and he made sure that she would never find out what that loyalty was actually buying. The edits were never about protecting Peace. They were about protecting himself, his image, his comfort, and the version of himself that keeps everyone around him useful. The thing is, she almost caught him once before, 10 months earlier, and I've got the receipts because she caught him talking to me. Chapter 3. Rewind. March 2024. A conversation I never thought I'd need. My own DMs with Peace. And it starts with just an invite that nobody sent. Quick setup. I was helping organize an Osiris League team for Kingdom 2268. Out of courtesy, I asked Peace directly. It's on screen. "Are you fine with me helping Nikki with OL?" Her answer, 1:04 PM. "Not really up to me. I don't plan to play OL. I need a break from things like that and all the seriousness." Completely fair. She doesn't plan to play, so I move on. Same afternoon, my DMs again, 2:34 PM. "Were you sent to ask me to play OL?" Then, "Who spoke for me? Because no one asked me." And by 3:56, it lands here, quote, "As far as I'm concerned, you have no desire to have me on the team, but would hound Chad to play. I'm good." Look at the timeline for a second. At noon, she does not plan to play. By 4 PM, I'm the bad guy for not inviting her to the thing that she just told me she didn't plan to play. And I'm sitting there posting my own call logs, proving my innocence over a team invite. Her closing verdict? On screen. Yes, was a miscommunication. Sure. And for the record, my actual position, which is the same conversation, is on the screen. No lol, I want you in my lane for your archers. A direct invite that she passed. But notice one more thing about this whole mix-up. Who was relaying versions of the story between everybody? Nikki heard one thing, I heard another, and Peace, and I quote, was told by Chad he was being encouraged to play. Chad, who'd been on voice with her for hours that day, sitting in the middle of the telephone game once again. And you'd think that incident was over, but the very next night, the Ploto stream happened. A content creator named Ploto Gaming was doing a stream about Kingdom 2605, Chad and Peace's old kingdom. I played in their recent KVK, and Chad was supposed to come on and speak. He tells me he's got meetings and sends me his talking points instead. Here's the actual DM that he sent me the day of the stream. Just pause and read it. It's a full brief. Which kingdoms to name drop, which ones to avoid, and my favorite part, actual stage directions. And I quote, say something nice about Cortex and me and Peace and Trollman Crix. And on the Chisgule topic, quote, word that carefully, but it has to be mentioned. Word that carefully. This is not some trivia being passed along for Ploto for his stream. That's coaching for the guy that's just about to speak on stage, which is me. Now, keep this in mind for what happens at 3 in the morning. And when it all blew up that night, I posted this exact message into my conversation with Peace mid-argument as proof. You'll see it sitting there too. So I go on stream, I answer questions about a KVK I personally played, and at 3 in the morning, my DMs light up. It's Peace. Why are you acting like a representative for us? You don't represent me. And then she says something that completely caught me off guard. Chad is telling me on voice right now, he didn't know you were going on the stream. It was points for Ploto. He's on a call with her while I'm just sitting there holding his talking points, telling her that he didn't know. It's the same night, 2 different stories, one for each audience. Doesn't that sound a bit familiar? So I show her the receipts, and to her credit, I want you to actually read this one. Just pause if you need to, because she comes back to me and apologizes. And I quote, and now I understand that Chad gave the green light to you, but apparently Chad lied to me too. That's not my accusation. That is Peace, the person all those edits were built to protect 18 months before that group chat was even created, discovering that Chad tells every side of his own story. Her words, not mine. One thing that I need to say straight, because it's in these same screenshots. Peace caught genuinely vile harassment from trolls in this community, crying at work levels of it. That was real, and it wasn't deserved, and it's not what this video is about. What happened to her years ago in our old kingdom wasn't okay either, and I said so then, and I'll say it again now. But not wanting someone bullied and letting a man rewrite 2 years of history about everyone around him are not the same conversation. She spent years absorbing hate to protect his brand. He spent those same years managing her like a PR problem. She deserved better than that from him. Everyone in this story did. And I'll own my own part in this because it matters. Back then, when she was getting torn apart, I stayed quite neutral. I was friends with some of the people giving her hell, and I didn't stand up for her the way that I should have. She carried that, and fair enough. She's not wrong to. I've told her as much privately, and I'll say it again here too. So no, I'm not the clean hero of the story. I wronged her separately years ago. This is about something else. A man rewriting 2 years of history to save his face. Chapter 4. The Other Best Friend. Here's the last piece of the pattern. We weren't the first friends to get a version of Chad custom built at the moment. Rewind to spring 2025, months before the group chat, and Chad's DMs to me about Chisgule, the biggest creator in this game. These screenshots I can show you, because they were sent directly to me. And I quote, bruh, someone has got to calm Chisgule down. Chisgule apparently believed Chad was telling people they couldn't be friends with both of them. Chad's response? That is 100% untruth. I've never and would never say that to anyone. Hold that I would never say that to anyone against the essay from the very start of this video. The one that told me and Cortex to make amends or, and I quote, if this is something you fellas just can't be fucked with, then okay. My exact words to him that afternoon. You had this whole rant about Chisgule not even a few months ago, and you just pulled worse than anything that he's ever done. And the wildest part is he already had perfect words for all of this, back when he was the one who felt wronged. Chisgule accused him of something, and here's how Chad vented to me. And I quote, seems like this is projection to the max broski, so I'm being falsely accused of doing exactly what he literally did to me. Read that one slowly. Being falsely accused of doing exactly what your accuser does. He wrote that months before the essay, and it aged like milk, because the essay was him doing that exact thing to us. He had the words for his own move before he ever pulled it. Now, while I'm here, there are 2 more things that I need to talk about, and these are my word alone, so take them or leave them. When Chad first started his channel, he told Chisgule flat out that he'd never compete with him. He even framed it to me like it wasn't really a creator move at all, more of a tax thing, a way to write his ROK spending off as a business expense. Fine, except you don't need a creator PhD to see what happened next. Same style of videos, streaming at the exact same times, uploads scheduled to a similar one as Chisgule's, slowly stepping into the exact audience that he swore he'd stay out of. And let me get this clear, there's nothing wrong with any of that on its own. Creators overlap all of the time. The problem is it's the dead opposite of what he told the guy straight to his face. One story for Chisgule, a different one for everyone else. Now, to be fair, Chisgule's side, which I heard from him directly, is that he was working 100-hour weeks across 3 games, fighting for relevance and content with nothing left over. Chisgule used to raid and support other creators very generously in the past, but stopped after getting burned quite badly. There were cases where Chisgule would send his audience to another creator and ultimately find out that what that creator or their guest was speaking negatively of Chisgule or his community. Therefore, from where he stood, Peace was trashing him to Chad's audience while Chad was expecting favors. And one little detail that I skipped. What was Chisgule actually accusing him of in a private creator chat that set all of this off? Not friendship stuff, numbers. He was calling out Chad's traffic, where his views were coming from. Let's hold that thought. Chapter 5. The Machine. So far, everything you've seen has happened to people who knew him, his close friends built up over years of playing together, people inside of his walls. This chapter is about everyone outside of them. If you're subscribed to his channel, if you've ever trusted a video because look how big this guy is, this is where you find out what you were actually looking at. Start with his own words, sent to me, unprompted, back when Chisgule questioned his growth in that creator chat. And I quote, "I use the YouTube tools at times to enhance traffic to the site and to videos, which I did not think was a manipulation tactic. That's not my allegation, that's his own defense, which was paid traffic by his own account is part of his channel. He just doesn't like using the word." Now, before I show you a single number, I need to explain one tool, because everything here rests on it and it's a public one owned by Google. It's called the Google Ads Transparency Center. Google built it so that anyone, you included, can look up any advertiser on Earth and see exactly what they paid to promote. To run ads at all, Google makes you verify your real identity. So when you search an advertiser and it says verified, that is Google confirming who paid. This takes the guesswork out completely. I'm not going to speculate that his videos were boosted, because I simply don't have to. Google will tell you because it's a public record and you can open it right now on your own and fact check every single word that I say. So let's search them up and see what we find. It isn't just 1 or 2 ads, it's literally hundreds. And here's the first tell. They're spread across multiple entities, one in his own name, verified by Google, and others under his own companies. Now ask, why one person would run ads for the same channel under a stack of different entities? Split the spend across a few names and no single profile will show the whole picture. That's not an accident, that's what we call a cover-up, but that's only what we've managed to find. There could easily be more. And here's why the cover matters. His content runs under Lilith's creator program, and that program flatly forbids artificially boosting any form of your content. It's against the rules for all creators in the program, full stop. And from what I know, he wasn't just called out by other creators. In October of last year, when it was brought up within the chat publicly, someone on Lilith's own creator team told him directly to stop. He said he would, and then he kept going, under the company names, right up to a video from just a few days ago. So if that's true, he's hiding the same thing from 2 different rooms at once. The creators who called him up on it and flagged it, and the creator team that told him to knock it off. Now let's look at the dates. This isn't just some experiment from 2 years ago that he grew out of. The most recent one, like I said before, ran just this week. A video from days ago, this July, under his company name. And he didn't stop there. He's doing it while you watch this. When a creator raised it to his face, watch how he shrinks it. Just a couple of promoted pieces of content per month. A couple. So hold that up against the screen. Hundreds of ads under multiple different names. A couple a month is the story that he's trying to tell, and yet the Transparency Center tells a completely different one. So let's retire the word organic. Here's what the paid promotion actually buys. I pulled the stats on all 740 of his YouTube videos, and I'll be fair to him first, because it matters. His typical video gets about a 4% like rate, which is healthy, it's normal, that's what you expect from a real channel. So I'm not telling you that War Daddy Chadski is fake, because he isn't. But just hold on to that, because it's exactly why the next part is so important. Because then there are these. His biggest video of the year, We Rallied Wild Lion, 112,000 views. At his own average, that should have had between 4,500 to 5,000 likes. Guess how many it actually has? Just above 650. 0.58% like share. And a gap like that, between 4,500 and 650, isn't just an off day, that's what we call buying views. It's not one video. The Ultimate Passform Guide, 37,000 views, 200 likes. Achilles will dominate, 41,000 views, 360 likes. And I can show you the paid ad for both of those. Hector, 24,250, ad confirmed. Orleans Auxiliary Guide, 19,000, ad confirmed. Every single one of them. They had the reach of a hit, and yet they had the likes of a video that nobody watched. Now, before anyone says that's just his channel, here's his own video from just a year earlier. 49,000 views, nearing 50,000, with almost 1,800 likes. Less than half the views of Wild Lion, but nearly triple the likes. That's what a real interaction looks like on his channel, and he just demonstrated both. So here's what he does about that, because you might be wondering, if the views are paid, wouldn't the video look dead? Wouldn't people notice 100,000 views and no comments? Yeah, absolutely they would. So watch what he does. Around the start of this year, in April, his comment sections come alive, and the reason is in his own video titles. Chadski giveaway, Flux giveaway every video, register. He started running giveaways where you comment to enter. Now look what that does. Chadski giveaway for 70,000 subscribers, 1,900 comments, 1,100 likes. More comments than likes, when normally he usually gets about 1 comment for every 13. Those aren't people who love the video, they're people entering a draw. The giveaway isn't him being generous, it's a cover. It fills the comments back up so a bought video just looks busy. And there's one more number that he can't paint, and that's likes, because there's no giveaway that rewards a like and an ad that doesn't tap like either. So just follow the like trail. Take this April. 20 of his published videos that month were advertised, 4 of them weren't. The 4 he didn't pay to push got about a 5% like rate and almost no comments. Totally normal. While the 20 that he did pay to push got half the like rate and his comment sections were stuffed nearly to the brim. Because those are the ones with the giveaways attached. Same month, same creator, and it's the same kind of video. The only thing that changed is whether he opened his wallet. Again, follow the likes and the wallet lights up every single time. Now, one honest note, because I like to show my work. Some of these are guide videos, and guides can pull search traffic on their own, and paid ads aren't bots. I'm not claiming them to be, I don't need to. The claim is narrower, and it's his. He paid to promote these videos under multiple names on a sponsored channel and dress the result up as organic. Google shows the ads, his numbers show the rest. Now, I want to talk to a very specific group of people now within the ROK community. If you're a Rise of Kingdoms creator, you already know your own analytics. You've stared at them over and over for hours on end, trying to find patterns, information, insights about your audience. And I'd bet that almost every one of you has videos with more likes and more comments than some of Chad's boosted videos on just a fraction of the views, because yours are real people who actually watched and actually cared. So let me make it simple for you. You're scrolling on your recommended page, 2 videos on the same topic for ROK pop up, side by side. One's got 50,000 views, another one's got 10. Which one are you more likely to click? The big one, every single time. And you know why? Because that's the whole YouTube game. But that's what the boosting actually buys him. It's not just the views, but every real person who picks his video over yours because it looks bigger. And he can do that because he's got the wallet and you don't, on a program that's supposed to forbid exactly this. That's not what we call competing. That's called paying to skip the line, knowing that it's against the rules because he can afford to. And it lands on real people. The small creators grinding their own edits, building real communities from nothing. A lot of them have watched their numbers slide just these last few months. I've seen many of the really hard worked on videos made by some creators taking hours, days, maybe even months to set up, edit and ship just to get overshadowed by an uncut, unedited video that got artificially boosted. Now, I won't pretend that I can prove every cause of the downtrends in your analytics, but you don't need a chart to see the shape of it, when even after being warned by the creator team of the game itself, where a channel buys its way to the top of every topic, the honest ones underneath get buried. So how does this feel fair? You didn't get passed by a better creator, you got passed by a receipt, and I think it's really important that you deserve to know that. Chapter 6. On the record. I told you at the start I'd flag when something was just my word, and I honestly thought that this chapter would be, but then I went through my own DMs and group chats, and look what I found. September 2023. On screen, War Daddy Chadski. Bob will play mine. Gives us a really good player for my account. Read that again real quick. Bob will play mine. It's account piloting, described so casually by him about his own account, because back then, it was completely normal for us. And if one receipt isn't enough, here's another, just 5 months later. February 2024, in the middle of a chat in KVK, Chad posted the plan for overnight. Ruz and Sean on Peace and Chat accounts have to go to sleep. That's him, in writing, telling the team that I'm driving his account while he sleeps. So when I tell you I piloted for him, that's not a claim that he gets to deny. He announced it to others. The War Daddy brand, the veteran of the game's greatest KVKs, I piloted his account myself, more than once, and so did others in our old friend group. That's not just me on a high horse though. I'm not pretending that I play this game clean, or that I never got heated, or I never said a blunt thing that I shouldn't have. The difference is that I'm not pretending to be spotless, and I'm also not selling you a version of myself that is. Even very recently, he's been the biggest advocator for anti-piloting measures, claiming he plays 20 hours a day and grinds more than anyone, when that same guy is using the pilot system himself just as much as anyone. And this is the bit that really gets me. Because remember those paid ads from the last chapter? Look at what he chose to spend his money promoting. A future without pilots. Huge announcement on anti-piloting. The same man who had me driving his account while he slept, he paid real money to be the face of the anti-piloting movement. He didn't just cheat and preach against it. He literally bought ad space to look honest about the exact thing that he was doing. He also showed up to the Big Kingdom scene pretty late. Even though he makes videos now talking about all the old KVKs just like he was there, when really, we were the ones who brought his group into the scene in the first place, and all of those war stories just got adapted along the way. Now look, none of that on its own is a crime. Plenty of players use pilots, but you can't be the guy using pilots and also the guy whose whole channel is the authentic War Daddy experience. And also the guy whose growth needs paid tools. And also the guy who edits 2 years of DMs to control what his close friends get to see. So where does it all stand? Cortex and I got one final message in that group chat before he went to sleep that night. And Ruz, thanks. I'm sorry. I've thought about that message a lot, and I believe he meant it at the time. The way I believe the other thing he told us that night. I have so much shit going on with family and business and YouTube that I just need to win somewhere. And that's what the essay was, in the end. It wasn't an apology. It's a win he needed. So yeah, I believe the sorry, and the essay, and the edits, and the talking points, they were all sincere, but to their own audience at that specific moment. That's what 4 years taught me. One incident after another. Every story Chad tells is built for whoever's watching. The essay was for peace. The points for Ploto's story was for peace. 2 years of edits was for peace. The channel, the numbers, the War Daddy legend, that story was built for you guys. We were his audience for 4 years. If you're subscribed, you've been in one of those stories too. The only difference between us is that we got to see it backstage. So why am I doing this? I didn't want to make this video in the first place. This is a person I've known for a few years now. I helped build the thing that he became. And for a long time after that August afternoon, I said nothing. Because part of me still hoped that it would sort itself out. And part of me didn't want to be the guy who airs it all out in public. So what's changed? It never stopped. The edits, the stories told to whoever's in the room, the paid numbers, the giveaways to cover them. Just an ad from just a few days ago. None of it was a bad moment that he learned from. It's just how it works now. And people that it lands on, the friends who get discarded when they stop being useful, the creators who get buried under a budget, most of them don't have the receipts, and they don't have anywhere to say this. But I do, because I kept all of it. And it started to feel wrong to be the only person holding the whole picture and yet saying nothing. I tried the private version first. We all did, in that group chat. It turned into a performance for someone who wasn't even there. So this is just my last option. Not a mob, it's not a pylon. I've been saying that the whole way through and I mean it to the very end. It's just the truth put somewhere that it can't be edited, with my name on it out in the open. That's the one thing that he never did. And his response to this video, when it goes live, because there definitely will be one, it will be heartfelt and it will be beautifully written. But when it drops, just do me one favor. Ask yourself, the only question that has ever mattered in this entire story. Who is it written for? So don't go harass the man. I don't want you commenting on his videos. He doesn't need help losing people's trust. He already has a system in place for that. My name is Ruz, and these were the Chadski Files. Thank you for watching.